I want to thank everybody for all the really helpful feedback on GloPoll. It's a growing concept and it's morphing and evolving, and the feedback really helps me get it to where it needs to be. Or I should say we, because I have a team now. Thank you, Jay. It's so good to have you on. So what is GloPoll? The first video was a little sketchy, so I'm trying to, do it again. There's so much to talk about because it is so simple. It starts off simple, but it has room to grow into something of epic proportions, and I mean that. So let's start with phase one. What is phase one? Phase one of the whole GloPoll mission is something that is actually very easy for someone to understand because it's not too different from what exists out there. Have you ever been on a dating site? More wholesome than Tinder. A dating site that asks you to fill out a questionnaire and it gives you your preferences, what types of things you like. I'm doing something like that, except for elected officials. So you never have to get to know the person, you never have to get to know the issues. It's so easy. All you do is you say what you do like and don't like. Simple as dating. Easier than dating, I would say, because your sexual attraction to the candidate makes no difference on whether you support their policies or whether they're compatible with you. It's not too crazy because how elected officials vote, that's all public record. It's just an engineering problem of getting that data and aggregating it in a way where it's useful to the user. So that's phase one, is building this is somewhat like a dating profile app between you and your elected officials. The benefit of this is increased transparency. The elected officials have more reward for doing good when it might have otherwise been unnoticed, and at the same time there's more accountability if they do something that is against public opinion. Now, what is public opinion? That is something we'll get to in a minute, but I just want to elaborate on this phase one, which for now we're calling it BallotBuddy. Jay came up with that and I really love it because it is your ballot buddy. So it's going to give you your sort of match with your elected officials. It's going to give you all the contact information. That's nothing new. It's just new in the fact that it's combined in the same place. So you get to compare how they vote based on your preferences. It will rate them as a percentage or a letter grade, quite similar to our friends at isidewith.org. And then it will tell you how to get in contact with them, similar to a few other services out there. But the ones out there I've seen only pertain to the top level, the federal level. And there are 2 other levels just chilling, not to mention global issues. And one more thing I want to say about BallotBuddy is it's just going to give you the real basics. It's going to inform you about when your elections are, because people miss the town elections all the time, okay? And it's going to inform you about who the candidates are with little informational blurbs, and it will say how the potential candidates rate to your preferences. And I was amazed that that information wasn't out there because it was, summer 2015, I had my town elections. I was aware that the elections were coming up, so I drove all the way from Boston to do these elections, and I get there, and there's no information about the candidates. Now, if I knew where they stood on the issues, I could learn about it right then and there and know how to vote. But guess what? I asked the guy, "Hi, are there any informational pamphlets about the candidates so I can know who I'm voting for?" And he said, "We released that in the paper. You should have got the paper." The paper? And it wasn't even online either. Call me a millennial, but I expect any useful information about democracy to be online. And I'm sorry, that's not an answer. And if he told me a website I could go to find it, that would be a somewhat okay answer. And that's what I'm trying to build for the future. But I don't want people to have to do guess and check. No, you make your profile, you say where you live, and all of the information comes to you. No sifting through crap. And people might say, oh, well, there's Facebook for that. Because for one period of time, Facebook did have a town hall section where they did inform you about not your local level officials, but the top one. Just like all the other services, I think I know who my senator is by now. But a lot of people don't know their town level. What I'm trying to do is take away the excuse of it's too much work to get informed about politics. It needs to all be there, brought to you with no extra fluff. And that's why Facebook is never going to deliver this service in a meaningful way, because their business model is fluff. You come there for one thing and then they feed you a bunch of other stuff and squeeze ads into the margins. In broad strokes, what BallotBuddy does is it asks you your personality questionnaire that is going to get your base opinions on certain issues, your stances that are not likely to change every few days, and then it will compare that against the voting behavior of your elected officials and also potential candidates. So you can rate them. You don't have to get to know them. The person hardly matters. It's how they vote. It's all about policy. It's all about the issues. And I'm not interested in politics being all about the person. It's about the issues. Please, we have the internet, which means we have unlimited information. So we shouldn't have to use these proxy terms or these proxy concepts like the personality, because we can know exactly how they vote. So we can short circuit that whole process of getting to know them. It's about how they vote. I'm sorry, nothing else matters. It's how they vote. So we can compare that to how they vote to how we would like them to vote. And if the discrepancy is bad, we can use the contacts portal, which is included in BallotBuddy, to reach out to them. We can thank them for doing us right, and we can give them more incentive to do right because of the increased transparency from BallotBuddy. Or conversely, if they are acting against the public opinion, or at least against what you feel, you can very easily and seamlessly, through our contacts portal on BallotBuddy, reach out to them, call upon them. You can do it on Twitter if you want to go public. You can do it in email if you want to be classy. I don't care what you do, but what I do care is that the information is available to you all on one screen. So with your profile, it's going to put in where you live, and from there, it tells you who represents you on all levels, how well they're representing you, and gives you a chance to reach out to them if there is someone you want to thank or if there's room for improvement. So BallotBuddy, it incentivizes good behavior of our elected officials by providing the transparency needed so we can thank them when they do right and we can call on them when they do wrong.